What's up? Today I'm not even gonna do the talking. So I am going to show you a couple of clips from a man named Lecrae. Lecrae is one of my favorite artists, but when I first became a Christian, he had preached a couple times about manhood, which is something that growing up I had a lot of questions about as a man. So he has this beautiful contrast between Jesus and Adam, and so I'm just gonna roll a couple of the clips. Hopefully it helps you better understand the duality of man between a worldly man and a godly man. Without further ado, here you go.
Number one, men were created by God to be social and spiritual. When men abandon this, all kind of disillusionment happens. When men abandon the pursuit to be social and spiritual, they get disillusioned. They become directionless, troubled. And you know who suffers most of the time? Women and children. Most of the violent crimes that happen are not committed by women, committed by men. Most of the rapes are not committed by women, they're committed by men, right? Family life gets harmed, children get harmed and hurt, and society gets all jacked up. Why? Because men are directionless and are not pursuing social and spirituality. Number two, male leadership is not natural, it's supernatural. It's not a natural thing, right? It's supernatural to say, you know what, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be that guy and I'm gonna do that. No, it's not. You don't naturally do that. It's something supernatural, right? God has given man a blueprint. He's given man a specific will to obey, a work to do, and a woman to love and protect. He's given man a will to obey, a work to do, and a woman to love and protect. And so, looking back in the scriptures, we see Adam failing ridiculously in these particular areas. And if we contrast Adam and Jesus, you see two completely different pictures of masculinity, two completely separate approaches to masculinity. And here's the reality for all of us in here, all us men in here. You're following one or the other. There's no in between. You're either following the first Adam or the second Adam. We're all on one of those trajectories. So let's talk about that, because these two individuals are leaders of two distinct destinies, right? They're leading people to two different places. You follow Adam, you're going to end up in one place. You follow Jesus, you're going to end up in another. What is a real man? I'm going to give you just kind of a 30,000 foot quick definition, right? A real man is someone who rejects passivity. A real man is someone who rejects passivity, accepts responsibility, leads courageously, and invests eternally. He rejects passivity. He accepts responsibility. He leads courageously, and he invests eternally. Did Adam do that? Let's look. Did Adam reject passivity? No, he was passive, right? He was passive. What happened in Genesis chapter 3? Adam was given the command to not eat the fruit. God says, you should not eat the fruit of this tree. Who did he tell that to? Eve? No, he told that to Adam. That was Adam's command. And when Eve sees the fruit, it says Adam was there with her. You look at Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. I mean, Adam is there as Eve is eating this fruit. He never gave her the command that God gave him. Passively, he stands by and watches his wife do the thing that God said they should not do. Did Adam accept responsibility? We already know he did not reject passivity. Did he accept responsibility? Well, they both ate the fruit. God comes into the garden and says, hey, what's going on here? What just happened? Does Adam say, look, I take full credit. I was being passive. I should have said something. I didn't. And whatever happens, spare her. Let it happen to me. Is that how it went down? That's not the Bible I have. In my Bible, he says, the woman you gave me, the woman you gave me, he didn't accept responsibility. He blame shifted. He shifted the blame on her. See, if you wouldn't have gave me the woman, which ultimately is him shifting the blame on God. And if you wouldn't have gave me her, then so really it's your fault that I ate the fruit. That's ultimately what we're doing. We don't accept responsibility. We're blaming God. We're blame shifters, and we're saying, well, and if you didn't, then ultimately it's your fault. It's your fault, God. Adam didn't accept responsibility, right? He disregarded his responsibility. He blamed Eve. And the first Adam abandoned his post of leadership. He didn't lead courageously. He sure enough wasn't thinking about investing eternally, because he's like, well, we could live right forever if we leave this fruit alone. He wasn't thinking about an eternal investment. Adam blew it. And now that's the trajectory that most of us men want to be on. It's just easier that way. It's just not toilsome. It's not hard. I'd rather just be good at video games and skateboarding and call it a day. And so then you have Jesus. In steps Jesus, the second Adam, who in fact rejects passivity, accepts responsibility, leads courageously, and invests eternally. See, I love the way Jesus accepts responsibility, right? He wasn't passive at all. If he was passive, he would have never wrapped himself in human flesh, came to exist on this earth to live the life we couldn't live and die the death that we deserve to die. He didn't reject passivity. And you want to talk about accepting responsibility? Who do you know that says, I will take their sin on my back? I know I didn't do it. I know I had nothing to do with it, but I'll take full responsibility for that. That's man stuff, right? And that's what Jesus ultimately does. We have a will to obey. You know what a will to obey. You know what Jesus says? My will is to do the will of my Father. My food is his will. My will is his will. He embraces God's will as, hey, this is what I am here to obey. There's no other will to supersede this one. There's no other master to supersede the Father. So he takes on that will to obey. He had a work to do. He said, I have work to do. My Father's work. John 17, right? My Father's work is that I've got work to do. And men, you have work to do. You have a will to obey and you have a work to do. And you have a woman to love. Oh, Jesus loved his woman to death. You're like, hold on, wait a minute. Jesus had a woman? You on some Da Vinci Code stuff, Craig? What's happening right now? No, his bride, the church. He loved her to the death. He sacrificed himself for her. He was a life giver to this woman, not a life taker. Most of us men are life takers. I've been a life taker more than I've been a life giver, right? Men existing to see what they can get from a woman instead of trying to add value, to add life to her. Draining life from her. Got her crying to her mother. I don't know. He just doesn't call. I don't know what to do. I don't know. And you're sitting back like, hey, I don't know, Are you going to pay for my meal? Cause I'm having a hard time at work. I just saw lazy life drainers. That's Adam. He drained life. We're sitting here now because of that. And Jesus gives life. Which one are you following?
So I hope that was an encouraging message to you from Lecrae. It's something that has definitely helped me out a lot, and I always go back to it. I love you. I can't wait to see you next time, and I hope you have a good one.